everyone. So today we're going to do a little Yoga 101 class. It's going to be short and sweet. And we're going to be targeting single leg balance poses. So what's really important to know in these single leg balance poses is that we have this group of muscles that is primarily responsible for balancing on that one foot, for keeping the head of the femur bone in the socket, for situating the knee so that it is in its right spot. And those muscles are the go-go-Q muscles and the piriformis and the gluteus medius. So I'll explain those a little bit more as we start to work. In the first exercise that we're going to be doing, we're going to be really firing up all of those muscles, so 7 muscles. And I guess I'll just run through them really quickly right now, and I'll make sure that I include a photo of what they look like in the body so you can get a visual. But the first one is our gluteus medius muscle. And this is going to be the one that sits the highest up on the back of the glutes. And all of these muscles, to some degree, have the capacity to externally rotate the hip and to, again, stabilize the head of the femur bone in the socket. So that's going to be the uppermost one. Situated underneath that is our piriformis muscle. And a lot of you have heard about that one before when we've talked about sciatic nerve issues. If that one's really tight, it can compress the sciatic nerve. So that's one of the ones today that we're going to be working with as well. So we've got the gluteus medius, now we've got the piriformis, and now 5 more. So the go-go-Q muscles, and they're situated just like this. If you were to hold your hand up, the uppermost one is going to be the gemellus superior. Underneath that is going to be the obturator internus. Underneath that one, we've got the gemellus inferior, the obturator externus, and then the Q is the quadratus femoris. So all of these muscles, this big group of muscles working together to give us support when we're standing on one leg. So let's get some awareness into this area of the body. We're going to need one block, and start by laying down on your side. So I'm going to start on my left side, so if you'd like to practice along with me, start on your left side. And just go ahead and rest your head in your hand. And we'll bring our knees directly shooting off of the hips. And actually, I'm going to take my top hand and just kind of rest it on my outer hip and posterior side of the hip so I can really start to feel these muscles as they start to work. So now my innermost feet are touching. As I inhale, I'm going to lift my top knee away from my bottom knee. So just take a moment there. You might even close your eyes so you can really feel what's going on in the outer hip. And now as you exhale, lower the right knee down. Let's do this 10 times. Inhale, lift the knee. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. The awareness probably starting to build a little bit more now as we continue on. We start to feel this warmth, this heat, maybe even the sense of the beginning of exhaustion, fatigue. We've got about 4 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. 1 more. Inhale, lift. And actually keep the knee up this time, and let's start to kind of pulse the knee up and down. Really starting to build into that fatigue so that we can maintain that sense of awareness in these muscles once we get to standing. So a few more times, a few more repetitions here, a little bit more pulsing, and release. Take a moment, let those muscles relax. And now we're going to continue on this side, so we're not done just yet. Press your knees down and lift your feet up. And you can keep your hand there if you want that sense of awareness. If you need a little bit of stability, feel free to bring your right fingertips now just in front of you. So we've got those feet up in the air, knees touching, And as you inhale, lift the right knee away from the bottom knee. Exhale, close. Inhale, lift. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Let's do just 2 more. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. 1 more time. Inhale, open. Exhale, close, release. And then reach for that yoga block that you have nearby, and we're going to set it between our feet. So it doesn't have to be perfect, you're just going to balance it there between your feet. And now we're going to do the same thing, just 5 more times, just to continue building on that awareness in the outer hip. So knees down, lift the feet up. Inhale, externally rotate as you lift the knee. Exhale, drop it back down. 4 more times. Inhale, lift, keep that block balance between the feet. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. 1 more. Lift it up. Lower it down and relax. And let's switch sides. So we'll do that same set of poses on the opposite side. So again, I'm just going to start laying down with my head resting on my hand and my left hand resting on my outer and posterior side of my hip. Again, just for that awareness. So the inner feet are touching, the knees are touching. As you inhale, lift left knee away from right. Exhale, close. Inhale, lift. Exhale, close. Inhale, lift, keep working. Exhale, close. So this little group of exercises that we're doing here at the beginning, before we even attempt to balance, again, is going to help us with that sense of awareness in this part of the body. We're at about 5 now, keep going. But you're also going to feel this tomorrow. So these are muscles that a lot of us don't work too hard, too often. So maybe even feeling that sense of fatigue now in both sides of the hips. Let's take about 3 more on this side. 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, keep the leg lifted, and just begin those little pulses. Remember, we've got this big grouping of 7 muscles working to do this tiny little movement here. And see if you can just kind of tap into the awareness in all or any, and release. Good, now we're going to keep the knees down, lift the feet up. Inhale, lift the left knee away from the right knee. Exhale, close. Remember, we're only going to do this 5 times. Maybe bring the fingertips in front of you if you need a little bit of balance here. And 2 more. And release. Reach for your yoga block. Place it between your feet. And we'll take 5 more repetitions. So knees down, feet balancing that block. Lift the feet up. Inhale, left knee lifts. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. 3 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. 1 more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower, and release. Good. Now let's just take a quick child's pose here. So set the props off to the side and find your way to child's pose. Big toes touching, knees out wide, arms out in front of you, and just resting the forehead down. And see if you can sense that awareness in the outer hips here. Inhale, rise into hands and knees. And let's find our way to a downward facing dog. Relax the heels towards the mat. Maybe pedal the feet back and forth just a little bit. Inhale, take the left leg up in the air. And as you exhale, step that left foot between the hands, drop the right heel, and come all the way up to a warrior two pose. So for this one, we're going to do a little palpation, just some sensing of where these muscles are in the back of the body. So just go ahead, bring the hands to the hips for now, and stretch the front leg or the left leg straight. Now, I'm going to ask you to just kind of feel around the posterior hip here. So no specific place necessary. Maybe start with pressing the fingers into the upper portion, bending into that front knee, and now move the inner knee towards the outer knee. Actually, maybe even just move it back and forth a little bit. You'll feel the muscle engage and let go. And then just play around with this one. So maybe move the fingertips down now to about the middle part of the glutes, and bend into the knee, and find that internal, external rotation. And what we're looking for is really that sensation on the external. So you feel that sense of engaging of the glutes on that left side, of the hip muscles on that left side, and stretch the leg. And you can even go so far down as to feel it at the sit bone. So if you take your fingers, let's take maybe the first 2 or 3 fingers, press into the sit bone on the left side, and then go maybe an inch lateral to that, and bend into the front knee. And find that internal, external rotation again. So this one is closer to the quadratus femoris, so that last muscle we talked about. And then now bring the arms out to a T. See if you can keep that sense of engagement, so that outer left hip is really squeezing in here. Breathe. Good. Now we're going to use this sense of awareness to get into a balance pose. So begin to bend more into that left knee. Bring the left fingertips either to the floor or a block if you still have one nearby. Slide the right foot in, and now lift that right foot up. Now, begin to engage all of those muscles again. You'll feel the head of the femur bone plug into the socket. And just focus on that lower leg. You might even use lightly the same muscles on the upper leg, just to help align the hips in this pose. Let's take one more breath. Good. And now drop that right hand down to the floor, square the hips, set the right foot down next to the left foot. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to downward facing dog. Now inhale, take the right leg up. Exhale, step that right foot between the hands, pivot and plant the left heel, bring the arms up to warrior two. Now that you've had that visual from the opposite side, we're going to do it on the right side. So just go ahead again, bring the hands to the hips, stretch that right leg straight as if we're about to take a triangle pose. And take your right hand now to the posterior side of the hip. And again, maybe just no specific place. Maybe you're feeling kind of on the upper portion. Bend into the front knee. Find a little bit of swaying, internal, external rotation. Maybe even close the eyes. And really feel that engagement. You'll feel when the head of the femur bone plugs into the socket. It'll feel really steady here. So now stretch the right leg. Let's take it down to about midway, so about the center of the glutes. Gently press in with either the fingers or even the whole hand if you want to get a little bit more feedback. Bend into the front knee. Internal, external rotation. And really, again, feel those muscles working. They're doing their job when you're finding that external rotation. And notice how this also takes the knee into proper alignment. So this is really helpful not only in our single leg balance poses like half moon, which we're about to do, but also simply in poses like this, warrior two. Let's stretch the leg straight. Finally, let's take maybe 2 or 3 fingers. See if you can find that sit bone on the right side, and then go about 1 inch lateral, so towards the right. Gently press in. Bend into the front knee. Externally rotate, internal, external. Find that engagement, that relaxation. Finally, engaging again, sensing all of those muscles engaging. Bring the arms out. Really strong warrior two here. Let's reach forward, drop the right fingertips down, slide the left leg, engage those muscles on the right side as you lift the left for half moon. Do one more breath here. And drop the left hand down. Step the left foot up to meet the right. Let's inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, and just come back to kneeling. So there you have it. That is how we can learn to wake up, fire all of those muscles, those 7 muscles that are needed to externally rotate the hip, to plug the head of the femur bone into the socket, to provide stability in our standing leg. And remember that we've got the gluteus medius, the piriformis, and the go-go cues. So I'll leave it at that. If you have any questions, feel free to send them my way, and enjoy practice. Namaste.